Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 19th of October, comes to you from London. And here we start, as always, with the currencies. Dollar index. See here this after a very strong week last week on the weekly chart. Remember, this long-term, medium-term, short-term charts. This means weeks ahead, months ahead, weeks ahead, and days ahead. That's the way to think about this. So this short-term charts is really where we spend more time, because this is where we've seen the most change from yesterday. And the dollar index is just holding the support level of the cloud here. Above the cloud is bullish, especially on this blue lagging line, and prices are holding there. We don't have any significant upside targets. One given back in June to 103, so about 6% upside there. So that's the one to play for at the moment. If we look at the euro is below the cloud on all three fronts, so that's bearish, 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 basically. We do have downside targets here on this medium-term 0.5% chart to about 102, 103, and that's where we're looking to at the moment on the euro, and the short-term trend is down. Sterling has been the big one, of course. Bit of a recovery we saw in sterling yesterday. That's taken us above the cloud into bullish territory in the short term, but this is a counter trend move, so we shouldn't be too surprised if that's short-lived. And if we take a quick look at the 1-minute chart, this is data coming from Bloomberg. Press the T key on your updater system. We do have a new upside target to 2025 and a trend change, so that is quite interesting. This downside target still hangs over us. We need a move above 124.90 for that to kick in. Watch for short-term moves, just changing the box size down here on this chart. But we do have a cluster here of about 124.40, so 1.3% upside at the moment. If those targets are not fulfilled, then that would be bearish action. If we look at it against the euro, we see much the same picture as the dollar. Other currencies like the Australian dollar still below the cloud here, so this chart's still a bit bearish, but new targets kicking in, not yet activated. Last night's move in the S&P was a bit of a relief, really. We were nudging this support level of 120. We're back into the 130, 140 area, so we're almost nudging 140 now. So that puts us back in the middle of the range. 150 is the level we really struggle at, and we see here we're just through here on the cloud as well. So just coming through on the price. Don't have to do a lot now to turn bearish short term again. We do have an upside target, not yet activated. Get above 120, 146, 147 today, and then we've got 21.96. So that's quite key. Look at the Nasdaq. Price wandering through here as well. And we do have a 3% upside target activated, so that's looking a little bit better. And I take a look at the Dow, and when markets are giving us these mixed signals, we need to look at more of these indices to get a view. And again, much the same picture here. So taking a look at FTSE, we closed above the 7,000 level just last night, and at the opening this morning, we might see a bit more of a move up, but we really need to get above 7,055 on this log scale point and figure chart to activate these upside targets. The one before is activated, so around 3% upside potential there, so that's quite key. DAX is actually bullish above the cloud, so that is bullish, and an upside target of 4% upside activated. A look at the Nikkei, bullish on the short and medium term, still bearish long term, so that is looking a little bit better. And we see here we do have upside targets activated as well. So markets not looking as bad as they were at the start of the week. We're just starting to claw back. And China, good news overnight in China, has given us a bit of a break to the upside. Still bearish on this long-term chart, but that is a break to the upside. The Hang Seng, not quite bullish, and still just finding some resistance on the cloud with downside targets. So a mixed picture there. India bearish, but trying to break through as well. And the Aussie market just turning off a little bit here, but still bullish on the medium term and wandering through on the long-term chart. So looking a bit better long-term. Crude, Brent, still struggling at this 52.50 level, and we are up this morning, but it's really a struggle to get through this level. So that's key. We're back into bullish territory on the 60-minute chart, and we do have an upside target activated. Highly unusual for Brent this time of year. Normally the seasonality weighs heavily, and WTI we've got a 2% upside as well. US nat gas still continuing, doesn't really have to do anything to wander into bullish territory on this weekly chart. So that is long-term bullish, just pulling back a little bit here on the short-term chart. Most softs up this morning here. We see the futures, and again weekly is just looking a bit better there. The daily is still bearish, and the short term is bullish. So mixed picture generally, and wheat bullish in the short term, medium term just coming a bit better, but still long term bearish. And we do have these downside targets hanging over us. So again, another mixed picture. Just jumping straight to gold. Down a bit this morning, down very, very slightly. The weekly chart is very bullish with good upside targets. The daily chart has turned a bit bearish, and we do have a downside target, still with about 4% downside to this support level. But two new upside targets, 1286, 1296, and the second one activated. So we are just starting to see some signs of buying thrusts coming in there, and silver much the same picture actually, and bullish above the short-term chart. Copper, bearish, 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 basically. So copper doesn't look so good. US bonds, the bond market just, this is the bond yield on 10-year, up very, very slightly, but still a bit bearish, having had a bit of a run here on the daily chart. Yields just getting up there, just turned a bit bearish. So we do have some downside targets. Medium term and long term, 2.17, 2.13 are the targets. So above 2%. Lastly, a look at bellwethers. Apple looking still pretty good. Bullish on all fronts now. We're through on the weekly. Good upside targets. Good moves on the Nasdaq market last night. A lot of the stocks up. So 3% upside in the short term, 22% in that medium term target. So quite interesting. Google now bullish again on all fronts. So stocks really starting to look better amongst these bellwethers. Amazon is the one just turning back, having had a very good run. And Facebook, last of all, just getting back into bullish territory just on the short-term chart, 131.73. Just getting above this 130 level would be quite convincing. Great upside targets on the medium and long-term charts. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.